Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I am Mrs. Sidra and this is lecture number 3 for chemistry class 8th. The topics that we are going to study today are the molecular mass and formula mass and the chemical species. Now the first one is the molecular mass and the formula mass. What is a molecule? A molecule is a group of atoms of same kind or of different kind. Like different types of atoms combine to make a molecule, and the mass of that molecule can be calculated by adding up the masses of the individual atoms. Like अगर हमने एक मॉलिक्यूल का मैस फाइंड आउट करना हो, मैस कैलकुलेट करना हो, तो हम किस तरह से कैलकुलेट करेंगे कि हम जो उन एटम्स के मैसेस को ऐड करेंगे जो एटम्स उस मॉलिक्यूल में प्रेजेंट होंगे. ओके. So, the sum of atomic masses of all the atoms present in a molecule is called the molecular mass. The atomic masses of the atoms are known to us and they are given in the periodic table. Now, let's take the example of a water molecule. Molecular mass of a water of H2O. Now, what is H2O? H2O is the formula of water, and in this, two atoms of hydrogen combine with one atom of oxygen to form one molecule of water. Okay, so by adding the atomic masses of hydrogen and atomic mass of oxygen, we can find out the molecular mass of a water molecule. Now look at this example. This is 2 into atomic mass of hydrogen. Now this 2 is the number of the hydrogen atoms plus atomic mass of oxygen. 2 into 1.008. This 1.008 is taken from the periodic table. Below the symbol a number is written and that is this number. Plus 16. This 16 is the atomic mass of oxygen. It makes 2.016 plus 16 is equal to 18.016 AMU. So the molecular mass of a water molecule is 18.016 atomic mass units. Clear? Similarly, we can calculate the molecular mass of other molecules also. Like say, let's take the example of say HCl. Just by adding up the atomic mass of hydrogen and then and atomic mass of chlorine, that is 35.5, we will be able to find out the molecular mass of a molecule of HCl. Next is the formula mass. The sum of atomic masses of all the atoms in a formula unit of a substance is called the formula mass. The only difference between the molecular mass and the formula mass is of the names. Molecular mass is calculated for the covalent compounds and formula mass is calculated for the ionic compounds. One unit of a covalent compound is called a molecule. Like water, we call it a molecule of water. Okay, because water is a covalent compound. We will study the topics of covalent compounds and ionic compounds in detail in the next chapters. And one unit of an ionic compound is called a formula unit. And the example and the definition of formula unit is also given. That is, a formula unit indicates simplest ratio of cations and anions in an ionic compound. So only the names are different, otherwise the procedures to calculate the molecular mass and the formula masses are same. Now the example for formula mass is of NaCl. This is 1 into 23. One atom of Na, that is sodium, and the atomic mass of sodium is 23 plus 1 into 35.5. This 35.5 is the atomic mass for chlorine, that is equal to 58.5 AMU. So the formula mass for one formula unit of NaCl is 58.5 AMU. The procedure is same, just we call the molecular mass for the covalent compounds and the formula mass for the ionic compounds. Okay, just you can practice it by writing the formulas for the different compounds and then calculate their masses by adding up the atomic masses of the component atoms. Clear? Now the next topic is the chemical species. The first one is the ions. There are two types of ions. Now, what are the ions? Ions are the charged species formed from atoms or chemically bonded group of atoms by adding or removing electrons. What is a charge on atom? We all know that the atoms are electrically neutral. It means that they have no charge on them. No charge means that the positive, there are present electrons and protons in atoms, but the number of electrons is always equal to the number of protons. While teaching you about the atomic numbers, I told you that the atomic number elements are arranged according to the atomic numbers in the periodic table, and this atomic number is the number of protons. And the number of protons have positive charges, so the number of the positive charges is equal to the number of the negative charges in an atom, and the negative charges are the electrons. Protons cannot be added or cannot be removed, but electrons can be added or electrons can be removed according to the need of the atom. Okay, so atom is electrically neutral, but when an atom removes an electron or gains an electron, it becomes an ion. It gains a charge on it. Now, if it will gain an electron, it means it is gaining a negative charge on it. It will become negatively charged, and we will call it a negatively charged ion. And if it removes an electron, it will become positively charged. Why it will become positively charged? Because when an electron will be removed from it, the number of positive charges or protons will become bigger than the number of negative charges, or you can say electrons. ठीक है, लाइक जब एक एटम में से इलेक्ट्रॉन्स रिमूव होंगे तो उसमें नंबर ऑफ प्रोटॉन्स जो है वो नंबर ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन से ज़्यादा हो जाएगा, जिसकी वजह से उस एटम पे पॉजिटिव चार्ज आ जाएगा। और जब एक एटम में इलेक्ट्रॉन एडअप होगा तो उस एटम के ऊपर नेगेटिव चार्ज आ जाएगा, क्योंकि इलेक्ट्रॉन्स का नंबर प्रोटॉन्स के नंबर से ज़्यादा हो जाएगा। इलेक्ट्रॉन पे कौन सा चार्ज होता है? दैट इज़ नेगेटिव, एंड प्रोटॉन्स हैव पॉजिटिव चार्ज on them. Now, the positively charged ions are called cations, and they are formed by removing the electrons. Okay, by removing the electron, the number of protons become greater than the number of electrons, and it becomes positively charged. This type of ions are called cations. And the number of, and when an atom gains an electron, the number of electrons increases than the number of electrons. Such type of ions are called anions. Sodium is the example of cations, that one sodium atom, when it removes an electron, it becomes positively charged, and it is called a cation. And we denote it with the symbol Na and with a positive sign on it. And chlorine is the example of anion. Chlorine atom gains an electron and it becomes negatively charged. Only the game is of electrons. Protons cannot play a part in removing or gaining. Only these are the electrons which are being gained or which are being removed from an atom. Okay, so ions are of two types. One is cations and one is anions. Cations are positively charged and anions are negatively charged. Next is the molecular ions. Now, when a molecule gains an electron or when a molecule removes an electron, it forms a molecular ion. Ions formed from removing or adding electrons to a molecule. That is, O2 and N2 are the examples of the molecular ions. Molecular ions don't form the ionic compound because molecules are present in the covalent compounds, so the molecular ions do not form the ionic compounds. Next is the free radicals. What are the free radicals? Free radicals are the atoms which have unpaired electrons and they bear no electric charge. Obviously, when they are atoms, the number of positive charges will be equal to the number of negative charges and they will be called as the free radicals. You can also remember them by saying that the atoms which have odd number of electrons, only the odd numbers of electrons will have an unpaired electron. That types of atoms are called the free radicals and they are denoted with a dot on them. Look, there are two examples. One is of hydrogen, it has a dot on it, the atomic number of hydrogen is 1, so there is one electron and it is already unpaired, so hydrogen is an example of a free radical. Next is Cl, there are 7 electrons, one is again unpaired. In outermost shell there are 7 electrons in chlorine, and we will study this in detail again in the next topics. Okay, now here you can the outermost, I will tell you about the outermost shells. There is one unpaired electron you can see, so chlorine is also an example of free radicals. Now next is the difference between the ions and the free radicals. Ions have even number of electrons while free radicals have odd number of electrons, and the number 2 is the ions are charged species while free radicals are neutral. Why free radicals are neutral? Because they are atoms and atoms are neutrally charged. Okay. Next is the representative particles of elements and compounds. Now, what are the representative particles? Representative particles are those particles which are making up their group, which are representing which are representing elements and compounds. Elements are made up of atoms, so representative particles for elements are atoms, and the representative particles for ionic compounds are the formula units. We call one unit of an ionic compound as formula unit, and we call one unit of a covalent compound as a molecule. So the representative particle of a covalent compound is a molecule and the representative particle of an ionic compound is a formula unit. Okay, now and we already know their definitions. Now this is the topic, these were the topics that we had to discuss, and there are few tasks first that I want you to complete them. The first one is to solve all the self-assessments and review questions related to these topics. Number 2 is the learn all the definitions. Now definitions are very important, and the definitions in chemistry help you a lot in understanding the complete topic. Okay, so you need to learn their definitions. And third one is the revise all the previous topics. Like if you will revise the topic of the atomic number, you will be able to understand the topic of the molecular mass and the formula mass. Clear? I hope the topics are clear to you. So thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.